All right, guys, today we're going to be reacting to Andrew Wilson explain to Arako how he owned the fake alpha, Wes Watson. Let's jump in.
So, diving in recently, you covered the Fresh Fit Fiasco, and this was
Hmm.
the in-person event which happened in Miami with Wes Watson. It's gone viral all over the place. Interestingly enough, I think, and I wanted to kind of give you a take here and see what you thought about this because you covered it, and I thought you gave really good coverage on your channel, very level-headed. I think that what happened there is like there was something for everybody. So for the people who really loathe like red pill content creators in the manosphere, you can use Wes Watson as basically the perfect caricature of
Hmm.
everything about that sphere that people hate, right? Totally empty and vacant of anything that is, worth something that's non-material. All that matters is muscles and roids and appearances, this type of thing. So I think the haters can make the perfect caricature, and then I think the red pillars themselves who watch it, they look at it and say, this is exactly what we don't want out there representing our message. And the Manosphere
Hmm.
people are saying the same thing. And then over on the kind of Christian side, or the people, the men who embrace some form of spiritualism, which I think is probably the best path, see it as, a rejection of materialism, kind of triggering the materialist worldview. So I think that there was something there for everyone. I think that that was kind of the perfect storm for all these different kind of internet groups to all then get together and have a take.
Yeah, I agree. Someone said in my comments, I think you're right about the caricature. Someone said that he's watched too many Sigma edits, and it's kind of
Hmm.
true. He kind of personified what people stereotype that red pill type of guy to be.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of the time it's the younger guys that get confused with this. They think that being a high value man is all about being like ripped and having a six pack, having a fast car, fighting everybody that gets in your way. And that's just not the way it is, in my opinion. I don't think that's what a high value man is at all.
Well,
Why cannot we simply go to what Kevin Samuel used to say, man? Like, I don't remember what was the characteristic of the high value man, but why we had to just all of a sudden just blur what the meaning of a high value man is?
doesn't it have to
Um,
start with emotional control?
Yeah, stoicism.
100%.
Like, doesn't it
You'd
have
think
to?
you'd have a bit of emotional control to get physically in shape and to, be financially stable.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it was the injections that got them there quicker,
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
I mean, the thing is, that's funny about it is, yeah, you would think that there would be a lot of discipline, which would be required to get the body shape like that.
Yeah.
But the steroids also do provide a shortcut, right? They do provide a
Mhm.
shortcut, and
Good
also they
point.
make you mentally unstable if you take them long term like that.
Good point.
Well, no one ever talks about the side effects.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
What
not
a
all bad for certain men at certain ages, but it can make you more aggressive, more emotional. It can give you boobs. He was talking about boobs the whole time, but
yeah,
he might get boobs in 10 years. If he forgets his injections when
yeah,
he catches a flight, he'll get boobs and little balls as well. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, don't
Wow.
those guys deflate once they stop taking the steroids? They deflate to
yeah.
about like half the size, and they age.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's like with steroid, you're basically you're borrowing time. You're borrowing some of the years, right, for a very short um, dopamine effect, I would say, or results. So you had to pay for those years. You had to pay.
Yeah, yeah,
5 years overnight, and they don't look great after
no,
the
it goes
injection stop.
from one extreme to the other a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Mm.
Um,
yeah. That's
but I
just
think
wild.
I think yeah, I think you did really good just to keep you calm, and you ended up basically playing him in his own game.
Yeah.
He was trying to mock you and roast you in front of that whole audience, and you ended up doing it to him.
Well,
So,
the thing is I've said this, probably because I've been in so many debates over the last few years, against everyone from top tier to just kind of randos. But once somebody loses their emotional control, you own them.
mhm,
Mm.
They are now
100%.
they are now your property. You can do
Yeah.
with them whatever you want because
Yeah.
once you have found the triggerable button, all you have to do is push it, and there's essentially no defense against that. And I think that that's a huge weakness. So if I were to look at everything you can do for self improvement as a man, and I get it, right? I got a beer gut. I drink too much. You know what I mean? I smoke too much. I get that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can do to work a bit on my health. But I also think that you should start with the idea of being at least somewhat in control of your emotions. And what's interesting
100%.
about that is you
I agree with that because it's the easiest way to control your life, right? It's controlling your emotions. It's something that you can do right now, at this time, at this moment.
can be somebody who allows emotion to
I
come
agree.
out and still be in control of it.
Yeah.
Like there's a time, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, rhetorically, where kind of self righteous indignation sounds really good, but it's controlled, right? You know what the message is that you're giving. You're not actually losing emotional control. So the opposition doesn't end up owning you. And if, as you found in your
Yeah.
life, that that's important.
100%. When I was younger, I think the way I grew up, the way confrontation was dealt with was by getting physical or by trying to insult somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And you soon start, I think if you've got a brain, you soon start to realize that's not going to get you very far.
No.
Especially as a man, there's consequences to these things. Like if you're going to just get violent or start insulting people in all these types of situations, and you're probably going to go to jail. So
Good
we're going to
point.
get in
Which is
serious
exactly where he
problems.
went, right? That's exactly where he
Well,
went.
Good
exactly.
point.
Yeah, that's
Good
very.
point.
He's there for 10 years or something, wasn't he? So there you go.
I think when
Good point. There we go. Case closed.
you get older, you realize that truly revenge is a dish best served cold. And you getting hot or something like this most often plays into the hand of whoever the opposition is. They end up
Mhm.
controlling you. They take headspace up. They make you think about them, things like this. And ultimately, that's a lot of men's downfall. A lot of men's downfall is becoming obsessed with conquering other men who aren't even thinking about them. They don't even
Yeah.
care about
Good
their
point.
existence. So no matter how rich you get, no matter how much wealth you
Good
have,
point.
reminds me of the old movie, The Count of Monte Cristo. Did you ever see that movie?
No, I've never seen that. No.
Well, inside the movie, a peasant is imprisoned by a nobleman who was his best friend because he was always jealous that the peasant was happy with having nothing.
Wow.
And no matter how much the noble got, he never could fill whatever the void was, and he was always upset that the peasant had nothing and was happy. And
And I
Wow.
think, yeah,
you know,
yeah, I think that annoyed him that day because the first question he asked you was, "Are you rich? Do you have money?
yeah,
Yep.
All right, are you broke? Are you broke?"
Yeah.
And you said, "Yeah, I'm broke. I don't have anything." You just showed you didn't care about
You didn't
money. Your
care.
value
Yeah.
doesn't come from money.
Yeah.
And
And that's where he got exposed because in reality, when you think about it, what having money has to do with anything, right? You have losers that have money. You have a lot of people that have money that should not have money, but they have money. That doesn't mean that they're successful. I understand where Wes was coming from. However, it showed the stoicism about it that was not executed properly. That's what I think. What really, um, that's what caught the manosphere with as a surprise.
when he's probably thought to himself that I'm gonna stop being a loser as soon as I get rich, as soon as I get a fast car, as soon as I have all these things. When someone just shuts you down and someone's even more self-assured than you are, when they don't have all the money and all the crap that you have, that can really fuck with your head. And I think that's what happened with him. It really fucked with him that you were just so confident about yourself and what your values were. You just spend all this time trying to be rich and trying to be this big boss.
Yeah.
And you realize in that moment, I think, that that's not what it's all about.
Yep.
That's not what being a high value man
Agree.
or a boss is about.
what are the steps when? So this term gets thrown around a lot, as you know, and I think there's different interpretations of it. It's one of those things I think that's better felt than telt, right? Which is what is a high value man? What does that mean ultimately?
I mean, I think a high value man is somebody that can take accountability
Yeah.
look after his family, not expect anything in return.
Hmm.
So there's high value men that don't earn 2 million a year, but they still look after their families. They still don't expect anything in return, um, and they'll take a bullet for their families. I think that's what a real high
Well, high value man is not that. It's just a high value man is determined by other men, right? Other men's he's needed by other men. Other men look up to him. That's a very important one, and this is one thing that a lot of the manosphere just missed. That since the death of Kevin Samuels came upon us, all of a sudden people started just throw a lot of definitions, and he was clear about that. How important it is for other men to see you as a high value man because you have a networking. That's very important in order for you to be a high value man. And we have to be honest, folks. There are some high value men that are not the best examples, right? But because they provide some kind of value to their community, whether it's good or bad, that makes it a high value man because he's the leader of men, right? He provides to those men. Men need them, right? He controls his emotions. And if, this is outside of whether or not some of his actions are right or wrong. But we have to recognize that the leader or man has to be in the equation.
value man is. I don't think money and materialism is what it's all about at all.
As an end in of itself, the pursuit of materialism always seems to lead people to bad ends. I don't think there's anything wrong with being rich. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a lot of wealth. I just think that using it as an end itself, that's the end of what it is that you're after, is pretty empty and vacant.
I'm gonna leave the rest of the interview in the description down below. That way you just can go to the original content creator, show some support. Let me know what you guys see in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.